Hey y'all, so the New Hampshire primary results are still coming in. It's at about 71% right now. And guess what? The primaries just got a little bit wider. Andrew Yang dropped out, y'all. Let's take a sip for Andrew. And the Yang gang. Y'all sat up there and talk about how New Hampshire and Iowa don't matter because it has all these white people and the black people haven't voted, but shit. New Hampshire and Iowa done got rid of all the goddamn color people. It got rid of all the people of color except for Deval Patrick, which, how? Because I thought that New Hampshire was supposed to be Deval's first step of hey, see, I can win this thing. What did I tell you, Deval Patrick? How the hell are you supposed to be the great black hope? And you supposed to do something that goddamn Kamala and Corey couldn't do. But that's what he thought. And yeah, he's at 0.4% right now in New Hampshire, 773 votes. Child. But he hanging in there for whatever reason. I think it's to be VP personally. Not that I'm saying he'll get picked, but maybe that's what he's trying to do. So, primary, so right it is. Plus Deval. So there's obviously been some very, very, very real fallout. Some of the fallout happened before the votes were cast. And now Andrew Yang is a victim of the second contest happening. Now, there's the big refrain these days is black voters, black voters, black voters. Well, I'm not going to cry for Argentina Joe and, him being counted out before black voters get to vote because, like I said, didn't the black people get counted out before the black people got to vote? So, deal with it, Bobby, as Whitney Houston would say. But let's talk about these results. 2 minutes on Twitter, then you got to go to YouTube for the rest. So, tonight, Sanders is in the lead, but guess what? His lead, or his margin is very small compared to last time. You can't say it's because he's splitting the progressive vote because Liz crashed and burned in New Hampshire, child. So he's at 26.1% right now. Now, all the votes are not in. He might expand on this lead, but it seems like Buttigieg has caught up a little bit. Buttigieg is at 24.1%. He trails by 4,100 votes. Amy Klobuchar is at 20%. Now, you might recall I brought my receipts earlier. I did say that Amy, I anticipated her being in third place. And she is in third place. I didn't know she was going to get all the way up to 20%, though. That's pretty impressive. As impressive as it can be in this little ass state. Then, you drop way down. Way, way, way down. To Elizabeth Warren. She's at 9.3%. I'm trying to figure out how Elizabeth Warren is the unity candidate at 9.3%. Girl, where? Wasn't she third? She was third place in Iowa, too. She don't have the numbers with other minorities to sit up there and claim, well, wait till the blacks vote. It'll be better then. No, I don't see it getting any better for Liz, child. I saw one Warren needs to seem like he jumped the fuck ship off her, too. Now, it's anecdotal evidence or whatever. But I know this one guy, I don't follow him, but I see his little funky ass tweets or whatever around. And this motherfucker is touting how Bernie Sanders is the last electable person in the race. Damn! Warren ain't even suspended her campaign yet, and you already on the Bernie train. Ain't that a bitch? These Warrenistas ain't loyal, apparently. Well, obviously, because she's dropped off quite a bit. Then you have Joe Biden. 8.5? Child. Now y'all want to act like Joe Biden hasn't been a front runner this whole ass goddamn time. Now y'all want to act like, well, he was never expected to win New Hampshire. Was he expected to get 8.5 motherfucking percent in New Hampshire? Not even viable. 0 delegates. He was expected to do that? Bitch, where? Y'all lying. Y'all trying to rewrite history like we weren't here this whole fucking time. Joe Biden said fuck effort. He ain't even gonna pretend like he's trying for New Hampshire, out here in South Carolina, surrounded by his African Americans. I have never, ever, 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 ever heard a candidate so happy to be going to the black votes. But first, Nevada. Tom Steyer is 3.6%. You know, that's bad, but shit, Joe Biden is at 8.5%. Then you got Tulsi Gabbard at 3.3%. Andrew Yang, he dropped out. I liked Yang. Yang was always nice to my girl Kamala. He never had a shady word. So I don't have a problem with Yang. Shout out to the Yang gang again. And then write-ins, 1.1%. So it's still some, you know, whatever. Oh yeah, Michael Bennett dropped out today. That's a long time coming. I really don't understand why the fuck he's been in a race this long. I don't understand that at all. He gave one so-called passionate speech on the Senate floor, and then somebody stupid that said, oh, Michael Bennett should run for president, and this motherfucker run for president. And I just never understood that. But anyway, he's out now, so I guess it's a moot point. So, what do we have to do? I have to give you guys a couple of I told you so. So, let me grab my wine again. I told you. Now, I listen, I don't watch cable news anymore. After the Mueller report, I was like, I'm done. I'm done with this shit. I don't want to fucking hear it. I don't want to fucking hear you guys regurgitate the same shit, try to make something happen that ain't gonna happen. It is what it is. So I watch, you know, Food Network and HGTV and my little ratchet reality TV shows, and I watch some scripted stuff. So everything that I say has nothing to do with what I've seen on TV, but I couldn't help but notice some overlap in the things that I said and the things that I was seeing other people say. People that y'all seem to think are really smart. People that I actually think are pretty smart, like Rachel Maddow. And so I wonder, now that they're saying it, and I've said, I'm not saying they got it from me because I have no reason to believe that. But now that you are likely, if you're watching the election returns tonight, hearing stuff that I've been saying, are you going to believe me now? Y'all going to listen now? Because I couldn't help but notice that Rachel Maddow talked about financial viability and how that's going to be a factor. Several panelists talked about financial viability. What have I been saying? Financial viability. So that's a thing. 8.5 motherfucking % for Joe Biden is dreadful. It's fucking terrible. There's no excuse for that. None. You can't say, oh, it's all white people. Well, shit, Joe Biden is white. All these motherfuckers are white. So what's that supposed to mean? I'm confused. Why does it being a white state be some sort of like, oh, well, you can't blame them for not doing well. It's a white state. These people are also white. Isn't Joe Biden, isn't his thing, well, he gonna get back the Trump voter? Who's a Trump voter? White people. So I'm confused. Y'all have to explain that to me. Oh, it's a white state, so it doesn't count with white candidates. I would be saying that shit if it was a black motherfucker who was trying to run and they was like, well, what do you expect white people to vote for him? You know, I might make that case, but white people vote for white people all the fucking time, jail. So that's a very, very stupid thing for me, for somebody to try to say, oh, well, it doesn't favor him because it's a white state. But donors are not going to be happy. They're not going to be happy with that performance. That's what Joe needs to worry about. He said today, you know, in response to Michael Bloomberg's ad with Obama. And now listen, I hadn't seen his ad yet, but I haven't seen it tonight. I was like, damn, that's a good ad. I guess you don't even need Obama's motherfucking endorsement. If you have an ad like that, people who are not like, oh, people that don't know that Obama hasn't endorsed anybody, they will look at that ad and think, oh, okay, President Obama's with Michael Bloomberg. And so Biden was asked about that, and he said, well, if I had the money, I would run an ad like that too. So you don't have money. That's what you're saying, huh? Catch that tea. So Joe Biden has money issues, Shell. Y'all don't want to admit that, but that's the facts. Elizabeth Warren, she cut out TV ads in South Carolina. She's moving that money to Nevada and to Maine of all places. I'm confused about Maine. There might be a strategy. I don't care to look into it, but she's choosing Maine over South Carolina in terms of where to spend her ad money. So that's interesting. But it definitely shows if you have to cut here and add there, that means you're not coming in on what you need to be coming in on. That's not good news when you're polling poorly, not just polling poorly, actually, when you're placing poorly in the ballots, in the contest, and you making cuts, robbing Peter to pay Paul. That doesn't bode well. So I would be very, very, very concerned if I were y'all. But y'all not gonna be concerned because you don't want to hear the goddamn truth. So I don't know what to tell you on that one. But yeah, so that's Biden, Joe, black voter Biden. The problem with that though is when you live by the black vote, you die by the black vote. With Kamala Harris, I said the good thing, the gift and the curse with Kamala is that she could win with the black vote. But the curse could be that she needs a black vote to win. And black voters chose Biden. Now, black voters seem to be jumping ship. Not entirely. Not everybody has jumped ship, but a good enough portion of them have jumped ship in order. And I say them instead of me because I haven't picked nobody. Have jumped ship to Michael Bloomberg. That's what the polling is starting to indicate, y'all. Now, I know y'all want to say stop and frisk. He got all this racist shit that he said and this, that, and the other. Again, like I said, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. I'm not going to give away the blueprint because I'm not getting paid to give out campaign advice, shell. So I'm going to keep that to my motherfucking self, how I think that Michael Bloomberg is going to dig himself out of that hole. I think it's a very temporary hole. People have a short attention span. And still remain competitive with the black vote. But I think that Joe is really playing with fire here by trying to make the case that he is a front runner because of his black support when we see his black support almost being cut in half in the polling. That's just what the polling data is showing. It's a long way between now and South Carolina. South Carolina is February 29th. That is 18 days away. In between now and then you have Nevada, which is 11 days away. Still a long way to go. When you have your last finish being in 5th place at 8.4, now it's down to 8.4% since we've been talking. That's a lot to overcome and try to get people to instill confidence. 79% in, Joe Biden is down to 8.4%. So now you round that shit down to 8. Y'all not seeing the warning signs. You're not seeing it. You're not accepting it. I don't know what to do. It's not my job to convince you of anything. I'm just here to give you my observations, Jal. So I will move on to the last thing because I think you guys want some good news. I think you want some encouraging news. So here's the encouraging part. Okay, there are a total of 4 contests in the month of February. We have now gone through 2. The next one, like I said, is Nevada, which is February 22nd. Now, the good news and or bad news, depending on how you look at it, is that Nevada is going to be a shit show because Nevada is a caucus. You saw the problems that Iowa had with its app and all kind of shit, child. Now these candidates are complaining that they don't know what the fuck is going on with the Nevada caucuses. There's poor communication. The candidates are learning about shit from the media. So it's going to be hard for these candidates to really to really adjust and come up with a really, really solid game plan. Now, Elizabeth Warren has staff. I think I read that she has 70 staffers, minus the 6 black people or people of color that left her staff because of racial issues there. So let's just say 64, 70, whatever. I don't know how big people the staff is there. Bernie Sanders has a significant presence there. Joe Biden, from what I understand, is not very well organized in Nevada. So he's going to need to get his shit together with that. So hopefully, if you're rooting for Joe, hopefully he'll be able to do that. Polling averages right now, he is barely hanging on, child, to the lead with 19%. Sanders with 18%, Elizabeth Warren with 11%. That's not viable. Buttigieg with 8%, Tom Steyer with 8%. So that is they're tied there. Amy Klobuchar 4%. So speaking of Amy Klobuchar, she did well today, but even well is 3rd place. maybe second. She did well in terms of beating expectations in Iowa. But even that was a fourth place or fifth. Still, not that great. She does not have a really viable path right now. She doesn't have the staff. She doesn't have the infrastructure. She doesn't have the funds compared to other people. And I don't know how you make the case that several third, fourth, fifth place finishes or two is going to give you a real surge. She has not surged nationally in terms of the polling. She's only surged in these specific states. So it's fine when you have a lot of attention on these states, you know, like when you have a big debate in physically in the state and people are late deciders. That has worked in her favor, but that's not going to be so much the case in the rest of these states. She hasn't like competed in South Carolina at all, so you can just completely write that off. And Nevada, she's polled 4% is the top that she's polled at. Okay, so things don't look good in there. So what is Amy Klobuchar's path? I don't see a path for her. So I don't know if she's just really hoping and praying on a Joe Biden collapse, which in that case would likely go, I still believe, to Michael Bloomberg. But if you wanted to say between Buttigieg and Klobuchar, obviously Pete Buttigieg would be the biggest beneficiary of a Biden total collapse. So I don't get the rationale for her other than what I've said before, which is maybe leverage for a VP spot or maybe a preferred cabinet position or just exposure. Because she's young enough to run again. So that could be what's in it for her. What else? Okay, it's not that. So, you know, there is some good news for Joe Biden in the polls for Nevada, but he is hanging on by a thread. He went from 33% polling lead. He was at 33% in early or mid November to now. The latest poll that I have is in January, 19%. And he has declined with each poll. So I don't know what the latest poll is. They don't do a lot of polling in Nevada. That probably will change now. So hopefully he has some good news there. But I don't know how you can predict good news after two very dismal finishes for Joe Biden. So that's that. So Elizabeth Warren, I think there's going to be some pressure on Elizabeth Warren because Bernie Sanders has won 2 contests. Not one. So he did not win in Iowa, but he wants to claim a victory on votes, even though there aren't really votes in the caucus. And it looks like he's going to win tonight in New Hampshire. Now, you know, she's getting 10% of the vote. So, but that 10% is enough if you add that to Bernie Sanders, to put him over the top. Now, obviously, I pointed out before the second choice, picks are not as straightforward as, okay, 100% of Elizabeth Warren goes to Bernie Sanders. It's more like 30%. So, yeah, but I think that she's going to start getting some pressure from the Bernie world chat. You know, they already tried to push our ass out before. I think that chorus is going to increase. I think I already mentioned about how somebody else already jumped ship. So, that'll be interesting. The Warrenistas, I suspect, are going to get a little bit more defiant. The diehard Warrenistas, and then the other people might just jump ship, jail. It might be the time. So that's that. Okay, and then just moving on quickly. South Carolina's February 29th. Tom Steyer is on Joe Biden's ass. Okay, his wife just announced that she's moving to South Carolina. Tom Steyer is being very aggressive and campaigning against Joe Biden. By name, Joe Biden and Pete Buttigieg. I still believe my completely unscientific, just my discernment and my intuition says that he has some sort of pact with Bernie Sanders. And so he's just there to try to damage Joe Biden. Maybe so that, you know, Steyer can end up as VP or something. But he's being very aggressive. Joe Biden doesn't seem to have a response for that. He doesn't seem to have a response for Bernie Sanders. He was given an opportunity earlier today to call Bernie Sanders a socialist. He should have taken that. That's one of the most fucking persuasive cases against Bernie Sanders. He calls himself a Democratic socialist. Even if you want to be technical and put, okay, Democratic socialist. Joe Biden, you're going to have to throw some fucking punches, fool. You cannot sit up there and win this goddamn nomination trying to be the elder statesman. Bernie Sanders dragging your ass. Pete Buttigieg keep dragging your ass. Tom Steyer dragging your ass. And you sitting up there doing what? Looking like goddamn boo-boo the fool, acting like you can't throw a punch. So, yeah, he has some issues. But the last point I'll make is just to give you guys, I said I have some good news for you. So here's some good news. By the end of February, only 3.9% of the delegates would have been awarded. So this was one of the points that Joe Biden made. 99% of the delegates haven't been awarded. 99% of Black people haven't voted yet. Okay, Joe. Wait till these polls continue to go towards goddamn Michael Bloomberg. Let's see how much you talk about the Black vote then. It is going to be, I think he's going to dropkick ass Black voters, and it'll be all about the fucking working class votes. Or the, factory workers and all kind of shit. But I said good news. Super Tuesday, March 3rd, just a couple days after South Carolina. A whopping, now this sounds like a massive amount at this point, 1,357 votes. Our delegates are up for grabs on Super Tuesday. The threshold, again, let me remind you guys, is 15% to get any delegates. Okay, so that's going to be awarded in some cases district level, some cases statewide level. That's 34% of the delegates are up for grabs on that one day alone. 38% by that Super Tuesday will have been awarded to some candidate or another. So again, if these folks can hang on financially, they have an incentive to stick around that long. If they think that maybe they can pick some stuff up. I don't know if like Amy would make sense for her to stick in that long unless she just wants more leverage. It sounds to me like Elizabeth Warren wants to stick in. She put out a memo today. I don't know why you passive aggressive talking shit about people in a memo. Well, you had a debate stage and you could have said something, but she had the little weaknesses from each candidate. And she had her delegate projection math. Now, her delegate projection math, interestingly enough, it's supposed to be her selling point, said that she's viable, meeting the threshold of 15% and 65% of basically the breakouts. Let's call it like that. Now, in this same memo, she said that Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders are 96 to 98% viable, meaning in all the contests they're going to meet that threshold of 96 to 98%. So if they're 98, 96, and it's 65. Now, listen. I'm a business economics major, accounting minor, MBA in finance. I'm a numbers girl by profession. But I don't think you have to have all those things to understand that 65 motherfucking percent is a lot lower than 98 and 96%. Somehow, Elizabeth Warren seems to think that makes her case. That's her case. I didn't say that. She also thinks that Bloomberg is only going to make about 15% viability. That's a little delusional. So, her optimistic points put her still firmly in third place, yeah. But that's all good. So, that's what we have right now. Oh, just one more thing I will make. Because I will say, again, if people are financially viable, they do have more of an incentive, especially if we're still being separated by, a handful of delegates. You have to get to 1991 to win the nomination outright. But after Super Tuesdays, you have several contests, 13 to be exact, March 4th through March 31st. Another 1,091 delegates are are up for grabs. That's 27.4% of the total amount. Cumulatively, before the end of March, 65% of the delegates will have been awarded. Okay, so March is going to be a huge month. 29 contests in total will happen in March. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities for somebody to spend this, spend that, spend that. But what you're not going to be able to spend is if your ass is in 3rd, 4th, 5th place, why the fuck you still in this race? So that's what I'm going to leave it at tonight. Like I said, good. If you want to have some good news, the good news is there's still a lot of delegates on the board. The good news is a lot of what I'm saying is based on the assumption that people are not going to be financially viable. If these people can get financially viable, then that could change their lot in this game. If they cannot, then they're going to be hobbling their ass through, or they're going to have to fucking drop out. So you decide which one you want your candidate to be in. If you mad at me, but you're not maxed out, you fucking up. You mad at the wrong person. I'm just a player in the game. I'm just the messenger, Chad. So on that note, cheers to another primary down, and may the best person win Nevada.